Okay, we are live, hopefully.
Yep. It says notify me on my end.
Wait, what does that mean?
I'll let you know in a second whenever my ads are done.
And
All right. You are live. You're good.
yay.
And is that central screen?
Let me look now.
This changes everything we know about tinnitus. Neurologists have
Okay. Did you guys see that chat?
Yep. Welcome,
Yay.
everyone.
All right. Welcome to Kicks Gaming. This is Papa Kicks. Joining me today is Tabs, our awesome moderator. Hi, Tabs.
Hello.
And we also have Control. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Sweet. Control will be sharing his screen for gameplay footage. Because in the past I found out it's way too hard to play and stream at the same time, so at least for answering questions and things like that. And I have to click watch stream so we can actually get this going.
Did you get a new mic?
Me? Are you asking me?
Yeah.
No. Does it sound different?
Oh, I was just curious.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to crop that. This is the exciting stuff that I should have done before. Should be good for now. Okay, how many people do we have in chat right now? Tabs, are you able to type anything?
I can. It showed up for me. Those of you watching, go ahead and drop a hi or a hey and let us know where you're watching from, and let's get this live stream going.
Yes. I suppose we can just jump in and people can catch up if they want.
Sounds good to me. Why don't you go ahead and start with kind of where chaos came from and the info you wanted to relay?
Yeah. So my last major Hunt Royale video was the Chaos Dungeon introduction. And in it, I talked about what a potential tier list might look like. And that's pretty much what we wound up doing. Is if you saw that video, we wound up doing exactly that. And basically how it works is anytime somebody completed a run, in our case, Control here's probably going to beat Yeti 2 with Hoplite, it looks like, yeah. Then it'll get added to the tier list as just a basically +1. Let me see if I have that pulled up. And I'll show you the raw data here. Okay, that should have just covered everyone's screen in instant bright white. Sorry about that. But if you take a look, we have all of the hunters that people entered and the floor that they completed, as well as the build that they completed. So I'm going to zoom in here. And this is the data column. And when we started this, I was basically typing these out one by one. And there are now almost 10,000 rows. Fortunately, we had people start switching to kind of typing out that information for us, because otherwise it was unsustainable and gonna cause a nervous breakdown. So, but you can see the charts here on the left. This is the green hotspots, basically. So if a hunter exceeded a certain number, it would get flagged as S tier. So anything in bold green is basically S tier for that dungeon and hunter combo. And ideally, when we were first starting this, we weren't sure if the dungeon and floor combo was going to be important or not, and it turns out it is. Otherwise, it would have been just one, tier list for each floor or something like that. But unfortunately, it mattered, so that means we have to have 20 different columns and one for each dungeon and floor combo other than floor 1, which almost any hunter can do. So this is what the final tier list looks like. And we can see, S tier, A tier, etc. And this is all based on the number of times that hunter was used on that floor successfully. So I'll be releasing this spreadsheet as well as images for people who want images. And for anyone who uses the spreadsheet, you can adjust it. So right now, S tier is the top 5 hunters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one has 5 S tier. A tier is the top 70%, or basically top 30% of hunters that were used on a specific floor. So for example, Samurai was used 23 times. Oh, no, it's Gentleman, sorry. 23 times, which made him, I guess, S tier. Yeah, that's dragon. So, yep, S tier. That is way more than 5 in the floor 2 column. So let's see if we can fix it in real time.
We have some people commenting on the quality of the video. Some people are able to see it perfectly, and some people are having a very hard time saying that it's not showing up very well for them.
Okay. I know the Discord is streaming at lower quality, but the stream itself should be okay. Hopefully. And that is why we're comparing AM stats instead of DD stats. So I'm going to change that really quick. It's floor 36. Or row 36. And now we should be down to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see the 5th one. I'll worry about it later, but still much better. So there's a few discrepancies that popped up that we had to take care of. One of them was people tend to do Abyssal Maze first because it's easiest. So what we needed to do, what I was originally going to do is they do 63% AM more than any other floor. It should be closer to 20% if everything was equal. So what I was originally going to do was raise the AM stats and lower everything else so that it was equal. And then I realized, why not just compare them separately or not compare them at all? You know, compare AM to AM, but not DD to AM. So that's pretty much what we did. But that leaves things like just not enough data because people are still using Abyssal first. So right now, Mender on AM2 is an F because there's only 2 times people have run it. Does that mean Mender is F tier for AM2? Well, maybe, but it also might be just not enough data, which is why we have an asterisk, and I'm going to explain all this in the notes. But that's also why we have control here. Are you able to answer any questions right now?
Yeah, go ahead. I just hit Kraken 1 again.
Okay. So in your experience, is there any reason why Mender would be a bad fit for Abyssal?
So his power, the setup I'm running has Sentinel darts, and you're able to stack them 3 times. So his power comes from you hitting the boss multiple times. So if you keep dying over and over and over again, you're losing that damage gain.
So if you had a choice to bring Mender on Abyssal or not, you would pick somebody else if you had a choice?
With the legendary set I'm running, I would definitely choose somebody else.
Okay. There we go. So it's probably not that there's not enough data. It's just that it's not a good choice. Another example is Samurai on Kraken. He's, from what I can tell, repeatedly not used very much on Kraken. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So his awakened power comes from you killing monsters and gaining 10% of that power, I believe.
Right.
And Kraken has the lowest spawn rate in a bit chaos.
That makes perfect sense. He's probably pretty hard to kill anything at the very start also. Not really a lot of room to run away. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna share the. Let's see. If people want to look at the tier list on the website, maybe they can pull it up themselves, and if they have any questions, they can ask it. That might work well as also.
Those of you watching, if you check out that spreadsheet and you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I will be sure to ask Papa as soon as they pop up whenever I get a chance to.
And
Or if you have any questions not regarding the spreadsheet, just the game or Chaos Dungeon in general, feel free to drop them and we can do our best to answer them. And if we don't have an answer, then we can definitely get back to you.
guess who never sent out the notice that we're live to all the Discords and Facebook and.
Well, why don't you go ahead and drop those, and hopefully people will come in and we can repeat some of the things we've said. But you know, while you're showing the list, go ahead and drop those invite link or those links so people can join.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Might explain the low turnout. Okay, where's the channel? There it is.
For those of you just tuning in, Papa Kix has shared a spreadsheet that he has come up with regarding all of the tiers for the hunters and the floors on the Chaos Dungeon. Feel free to look over that, and if you have any questions or any game-related questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we can go ahead and answer those questions. Morrison, you're saying that it's a pretty accurate tier list, and you would say 95%. What's the other 5%? Is there anything that you think, in your opinion, would change? And why?
95%. I'm very happy with that number.
Welcome everybody watching. We had a little bit of a hiccup and got started a little bit later, and some of the invite codes weren't sent out, so we're trying to get those posted now. But for those of you just now joining, there is a chaos tier list spreadsheet that Papa has posted in the comment section. Feel free to take a look at that. And if any of it needs to be explained again, feel free to ask. Or if you have any game related questions, drop them in the comment section and we will get those answered for you.
Plague Rat. Let's take a look.
Also, Papa, Tommy just wanted me to let you know that if there are any questions that come up, especially about Abyssal or game-related math or anything that maybe you struggle with answering, he does not mind coming in and answering some of those questions. He's got a lot of the game's math part of it figured out and like the why behind a lot of the questions. So if you would like any additional feedback, he can definitely help with that too.
Awesome.
So Morrison said that Plague Rat is a tier B on Dragon. I'm using him non-awakened with a legendary set with 1 minute left. And Runo Rugo, Arachna, can kill the dragon boss very easily when she gets 2 slippery webs. I don't understand why it's an F tier.
Okay, those are 2 very good questions. And it's covering my face. That's fine. Okay. So the first one was Plague Rat on Dragon.
Papa, on my end, Control's screen is just a gray blank screen for his stream. Just an FYI. There it goes. Never mind. Ignore me. It just
no, it's
bugged
coming
out
back.
again.
It looks like
Okay.
his connection, I think.
Okay, just wanted to inform. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem. Okay, so Plague Rat on Dragon. Which floor? Or any floor, doesn't matter. Okay, I'm not seeing Plague Rat. Is it down below? It's very down below. Okay. So Plague Rat should be okay on poison floors. Definitely not the floor 3, which is high poison resist and high fire resist. He's F and D on floor 4. And I don't see him on floor 5. So that one might be a case of just there's always a better choice. People don't want to use them. Control, do you have any thoughts on Plague Rat?
On floor 2,
I can't really tell. Just any floor, it looks like.
if I were to use like anybody that uses poison like Plague Rat or Plague Doctor, it would be on a low resist floor, so like 1 or 4. Like he has the range to avoid the fire breath, but those are the only floors I would use them on.
Okay, let's take a look at floor 1. No, people aren't even using them on floor 1, but they are using them on 4. 2 and 4, it looks like, is the primary ones. So yeah, I'm not sure what to say about that one. It looks like people just chose not to use him. I think there's just better choices in general. Why settle when you can have an S tier type thing? Arachna on Dragon. B.
Let me reset my Discord. I'll be back.
Okay. F tier on Dragon 5, Yeti, and Abyssal. But B tier on Kraken and Maze. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But it looks consistent across each floor. Dragon especially.
I think Morrison hit the nail on the head in the comments section, especially when it comes to the dragon boss, saying that he doesn't think that people would like to play close range on the dragon.
That's true. You would require a certain number of levels in order to survive the flame breath or tank through it. So I guess that's a good thing to point out. That is one of the downsides of a list like this. There's no opinion in here whatsoever. There's a few other people who have come out with tier lists, and they're more opinion based. I feel like this hunter's good, I feel like this hunter's bad, etc. For this one, it's purely statistical driven. It doesn't matter if I think it should be S tier or not. If people don't use it, then it's going to be low ranked. And you can contribute data to this as well. We have over 5,000 posts in the Discord, which is really fantastic. But you can keep posting more. There's still more there that need to be entered into the system. So if you feel like a hunter is underrepresented, you can start running it and adding it to our data. And then it should boost its score a little bit, but try not to troll either. Don't play a hunter that you would never play just to get it in the list. That doesn't really help anyone. But yeah, that is one of the downsides of the way we approached it. Is just opinion and is just not a factor whatsoever. One of the things we also did is if a hunter is used more with a specific gear set. So on floor 3, we have Mummy, and almost every time he was used, it was fire. So he gets a fire icon, and this is all calculated automatically. Same with Goblin Engineer and Regular Engineer. both of those make perfect sense. They really shine with fire, but not so much with poison. They're okay with poison, but they shine with fire. There are 3 types of lies. Does he mean list? Or is that you?
No, he definitely means lies, and he's talking about lies, damn lies, and statistics. And I think you get the gist now with that answer.
Got it. Yeah, I've heard that before, but it's been a long time. Hey, stacking.
Those of you who are here, we're also answering questions just game related too. So if you're having a hard time coming up with a chaos dungeon question, or if you just would like more information, please drop that in the comments section. Now's the time to get anything that you would like to know answered.
Tabs. I think I can actually pull up Discord now because I popped out the streaming session.
That should be, I mean, if you need to open Discord for anything, but the screen that you have showing that should be control running chaos is still just a gray screen for me.
Yeah, is it like the overlay? You have it behind something?
It is behind Chrome. It popped up for a second there. See, right there. And I'm not changing anything. Okay. I'm going to try and move this to the side and hopefully that works. All right. And now that window got squished. Okay. I think that's better. I can leave a link to your cash or trash guide in the description of this if anybody wants to learn more about Abyssal Maze. Let's see if we can find any other abnormalities. Looks like gentleman on Abyssal. Control, do you have any ideas there?
What's it? What is it?
Gentleman on Abyssal.
I've had a
Might-
couple. I've had a couple runs with Gentlemen on Abyssal. You just need like quite a few attack speeds, and you just go to the spawn and die while your hats fly out and come back.
Gotcha.
It's doable.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that could be another limit of the lack of data, just because of that 60% on floor 1 abyssal issue.
Those of you watching, we are getting ready to do a giveaway, so just stay tuned. It will be coming shortly. We are in the process of getting that ready for you guys right now. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and start with that giveaway. There's only 13 of you guys watching currently, so this should be a pretty hot race to who's going to get this giveaway. So the prize is going to be 5K gold. So if you want 5K gold, I suggest that you listen closely. So we're going to do a giveaway. This is going to be done in the comments section. We're going to do a little bit of a game. As we know, the YouTube algorithm kind of helps with people promotion and how that and getting people to come in and view. So this is going to be a commenting type of game. It is also a counting game, so hopefully you guys know how to count. So we're going to do 1 through 50. It has to, no doubles, no repeating. You can't just type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all through 50. It has to be one number per person, and you cannot send multiple numbers in a row. If a number is sent twice, it starts over. So once we get to 50, the person who gets that 50 will win that giveaway. So let's go ahead and get that started now. So slow and steady can win this race.
If there's a repeat, it starts over?
Yes. So if it goes like 1, 1, 2, 3, then it starts back over at 1. And I will say if there's a repeat.
Interesting.
Mike's trolling. Out of order. Just kidding. Not Gary's the one trolling over here. Okay, so this might seem a little harder for you guys, so let's just try to get to 50. No double comments and just keep it going in order.
Might be a more reasonable expectation. I can't imagine doing
Saying
that.
he doesn't like playing
hundreds.
alone. The game was about community and he misses that. So for those of you who are curious, we are at 3. We need a 4. Does anybody have a 4?
Yay.
There's a 4. Thank you, John Hahn. We've got a 4. Anybody got a 5? There's Slayer with a 5. Morrison came in with a second 5, but he was a little bit late. I'll do this auctioneer style if it goes better this way. We've got a double
Great.
7 and a 6, so we're at 7. We have an 8. Oh, there's an 8. We got 2 8s. All right, do we have a 9? Do we have a 9? Anybody got a 9? Oh, Mike gave us a 9. Thank you, Mike. Oh, John with the 10. Ooh, we got 3 10s. Ooh, Morrison with the 11. And Wallace close behind him. Can we get a 12? Do I see a 12? Thank you, Mike. I got a 12. Slayer with the 13. Naughty 13 and 14 came in really quick behind him. Got double 14. Do we have a 15? Anybody have a 15?
You know what? Everybody probably has 16 ready to go, and they're just ready to hit enter as soon as somebody does the one before.
Thank you,
it.
Mike, for the 15. There's a 16. 17. Look, we're not repeating anymore. You guys are getting it. Can we get an 18? Thank you, Mike,
Yeah.
with the 18. 19, 19.
We'll
Let's get
take it.
20. There's the 20. 21. Can we get, there's our 22. Do we have a 23? Anybody have a 23? There's our 23. Thank you, Mike. 24. 25. Slayer got us halfway there with the 25. There's our 26. 27. Can we get it? There we go. 28. We gonna see
Nice.
30 in the next 30 seconds? 29. Can I get a 30? Thank you, Morrison. All right, guys, only 20 more numbers to go. However, it took us this long to get to 30. How quickly can we get to 50? Kicks gave us the 33.
Woohoo!
Do we have a 35? Do we have a 35? Anybody? 36. Oop, look. There we go. Wallace with the 35. John came in with the 36. And Slayer wants to take us back down to 35. I don't know what he's thinking, but we're back on up to and starting our counting to 37. We've got 37, 38.
Nope. That 38 does
39.
not count.
That other 38 doesn't. Yep, true.
We need a 38. Go back.
We need a 38 from somebody other than Adelaide. Somebody give us a 38. And Wallace, you cannot be 38 because you did 39. Thank you,
There we
Mike.
go. 38.
There we go.
Now
Okay.
39.
We've got the 39 and the 40 and the 41. We'll just let them keep going. Do we have a 42?
Fair enough.
Anybody got a 42? Remember, this is for 5,000 gold. Who needs some gold in this game? All right, Slayer with the 42. Do we have a 43? Anybody with the 43? 43, we're only 7 numbers away. Who's going to be the lucky number 50? Oop, there's 44. 6 numbers away. 45. Who's going to be the lucky number 50? I'm curious to see.
Let's
46
go.
from
Let's
Mike.
go.
47.
Let's
48. We need 2 more. Who's going to be the brave? Nope, you can't skip 49. Mike gave the 49.
go. Whoa.
John Hahn was the next one to come in with the 50 after the 49 was typed. John Hahn, I don't know how you want to say it, but you are the winner of the 5,000 gold. So if you are in the Kicks gaming server on Discord, please reach out to Papa Kicks and he can get you that code. Thank you all for playing. I seriously enjoyed it. Sorry. No, I'm not an auctioneer, but I tried my best.
That was pretty good.
Hope it was entertaining.
I have a question. Am I allowed to opt in for that gold?
Yeah, but you wouldn't win that one because it's already over.
Who do you think John Hahn is?
We'll get you a special prize for all your hard gameplay.
Adelaide and Slayer, if you look at Papa Kick's live chat, Mike came in with the 49 and John came in with the 50. So unfortunately, I apologize. Sometimes the loading's a little bit slower, but there will be more giveaways. Please don't be upset. We are going to be doing a few more giveaways today. So stay tuned.
All right. Do we need to cover anything that we did at the beginning when there was only like 2 of us? Let me see. All right. So because I can show Discord again. I did want to share what the kind of work that went into it. So I'm gonna make a new sheet real quick. I don't know if it was you or Tommy. Somebody asked what floor to use first.
There's Tommy.
Is Tommy in chat or is that you, Tabs?
That is Tom. I'm not using his YouTube chat. If I need to talk, I will talk to you through here.
Gotcha. So I know my answer. Perhaps other people have one, but basically, Abyssal gets really hard later on. You can't tank it like at all, and so you're pretty much like suicide winning. Therefore, it's super easy to just get it out of the way first. At least that's what I did. I don't know if anyone else has a different experience than that.
So Adelaide is asking raw tentacles on Yeti for level 3 and with Necro. Opinions.
So raw poison is he's watching my stream, so raw poison is the highest set that I have, and yeah, it was the best choice that I had for hunters. I would not choose him usually for this, but because the life drain is 60%, he just keeps healing. So it might be a fail, it might not be.
One thing about tentacles on him is that they don't despawn. So it's kind of like a poisonish in that like you just get more and more tentacles, which means more and more stacks. So he's got that going for him. Why can't I find the discussion?
Oh, he moved.
No.
Yeah, he moved, so it's a fail now.
One thing I think is noteworthy though is Control is using a legendary set. He doesn't have a mythic set, which means more power to him, but it also shows that it is possible. It's much harder, but it is possible.
Yeah, it is very much
channel.
hard. It is very much harder. Can't wait till I get the mythic set.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Papa.
Okay.
Can you potentially give some insight into why the devs chose a single player mode when the community has been very apparently asking for more than just 2 players? Why did they go down to 1 instead of giving the community what they wanted? Is there any insight you could give on that?
I'm not sure. I can tell you why they don't go more, but I can't tell you why they went down to 1. So right now, as most people know, if you're playing just any of the cooperative modes, there's a decent chance of desyncing. And imagine if you have 4 people trying to play together, that's just going to make it 4 times worse. You might be able to play with 3 of them and one of them desyncs, or it might be 50-50 and now you're desynced with 2 people. So right now everything is peer-to-peer. So if Control and I were to play together, we would have to connect our devices to each other. There's no server in between. If there was a server in between, that would make things more stable as far as our connection goes, and we could disconnect and reconnect and it wouldn't be an issue. But that requires a lot of overhead for most games, and most mobile games just don't have that kind of cooperative experience. So it's not too surprising that that's the way they designed it to begin with. As far as future plans, I'm not sure. I know there's new content coming out. It's not even in testing yet, so I can't talk about it. But I would expect more co-op modes in the future. How those will look, I can't say. Okay, I'm gonna give up. I can't find the channel. So basically, all of the hunter data looks like this. It's just hunter name, dragon, or dungeon name, and floor, and then the gear set that was used if available. And this is just one entry where I added 272 entries from the community. And I mentioned it earlier. But there's almost 10,000 records now. So at the beginning, I was typing all of this out. I would type GRA and select Grey Wolf, TOR Torment, and over and over and over again. And we soon realized that was not sustainable. And, I just started taking a break. And then one of the other players who really helped out with this is Sespi. He kind of stepped up and started doing a bunch of them for me, getting them into a format where I could just copy paste them into this sheet. So after he started helping with that, he started getting burnt out because it was just too much work. And at that point, we told the community, okay, you got to meet us halfway. Please start entering them in text format so then I can just copy paste, and everybody obliged, which is awesome. And then we were able to go from, I think we had about 4,000 to 5,000 when we switched to text. And now, of course, we're at pretty much 10,000 and still going. So this is really a community effort. Everyone who submitted their data, the people who get the data into the spreadsheet, and even figuring out the criteria for what S tier would be. There's so much different help at every step of the way. Unfortunately, I'm not even capable of saying every single person who helped, but The list is very long, and hopefully I'll be able to do that at some point. But this is a very much a community project. In the past, I don't think I've done a pure tier list before, but usually it would be one person's opinion. I think I talked about that earlier, but yeah, this one's just community driven, data driven, and I think the results speak for themselves.
All right, so we do have, I don't know if it's a troll question or a real question. Says that zombie mode. I'm not sure I should expect something good. What will the rewards in the new what will be the rewards in new zombie mode?
I don't know.
Nothing has been said yet.
I'm able to test it, but I don't know what the rewards are yet. I'm not sure they're even set. So that's one thing that happens during testing is we might get access to the mode and we're able to play and test it, but there might not be any rewards attached. That happened with Battlegrounds. I can't remember what other ones. Chaos, we did have rewards, but as some of you know from watching this stream in the past, the rewards did change. Not everyone was happy about that, but it's besides the point. But yeah, and I actually do have permission to show zombie mode if anybody wants to see it.
Papa and spectators, if you don't mind, I'm gonna let Tommy tag in for me for a little bit. I've got to get something done real quick.
No problem.
All right. I'll let him introduce himself.
Tommy needs no introduction.
I guess I'm the queen today, guys.
What's up,
Hey,
Queen
no,
Tommy?
That's Queen Tommy, yeah. But for everybody that hasn't already, if you're enjoying what you're watching, I know this isn't Papa's best stream. It's been a little slow. Had a few technical errors at the beginning, but it definitely matters if you hit that thumbs up button and definitely keep up with the comments. Any more questions? So I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that name. Atalisk or Adelaide? Is that I guess that is what it is. Adelaide. Isk. Is that a question about the new hunter that you're asking?
Which question is it?
He said, got OP minion abilities for pool. No, he's asking about the new zombie mode. Okay. Sorry. I was dealing with the daughter. I was trying to watch the stream and do that, but did not go down that way.
Gotcha.
Fortunately, a 3-year-old's a handful, so I wasn't able to pay as much attention.
No problem.
That's one thing. Even though I didn't play a lot of Chaos, I know a lot of people who have. I just choose not to play it because I don't really want to play the game by myself. But I've heard a lot about it and everything. And questions I get frequently, and I defer them to other people, which I tried to ask some in the chat earlier while I was dealing with my daughter. But You got to the one about the what dungeon. That was my recommendation. That's what everybody else recommends too, is get Abyssal out of the way first. What hunter would you suggest with that? What hunter is an easy burn that's decent for getting that first one out of the way without burning too many good champions? Hunters, rather.
Yeah, it's a good good question. I know for me personally, I'm not really a speed runner, so I don't care if it takes a little longer. I mean, I've used hunters like Vlad. It did. I mean, it works, but it's a little bit too slow.
Vlad's a good choice though, also for those guys trying to get their hunter title, Papa. Or they're not hunter. Their count title. Hey, that's a good way to get it.
Not really.
You can't get the count title that way.
No, you can. You're just doing it 5 points at a time, when you could be doing it 50 points or 50k points at a time. The count title now requires you to heal explicitly. It can't be over heals. So, yeah, unless you're taking, 1,000 damage, if you heal for 5, because it's 5%, that's only 5. So I actually have a video plan for that.
Okay.
But my recommendation for the count title is Yeti on his heal pad and not wearing DR gear. So I guess that would work on floor 1. Yeah, I guess that would work, but then you're not doing Abyssal. The other good method is Daily Maze Insane, floor 20. Because you can save and leave, and that progress still counts. So depending on how much damage you're dealing and healing, you could finish the entire count title in 1 day, 1 run. You'd have to save and leave a couple times, but
That's what we used to tell people to do anyway. Was Daily Maze, save and leave.
yeah, it's a good one.
As far as other questions, let's see what we got here. So Adelaide is saying AM1, Frozen Queen or Snowman. Frozen Queen engineered, but it is tiring. Yeah. Mummy. He's also suggesting Mummy. I think a lot of people save Mummy.
Yeah, I think so also. So yeah, I mentioned Vlad. My bigger choice would be a hunter like Imp Master. Imp Master can throw over walls, which is great. Hits 3 times, so it's 3 times stacking power compared to any single target hunter. Yeah, and Imp Master works very consistently. And it's not a hunter that you're going to want to save for 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's what I use. But as far as what most people use, a lot of people use Plague Doctor. And this is on the data page of the tier list. Plague Doctor, Necro, Arachna, Spider Queen, Ninja, Mutant Turtle by a long shot. So I don't know if people still do that post nerf, and I believe the reasoning was because it was so fast. They just get quicker runs because of it.
Question for the guy doing the runs here. It's in tune with Chaos. This is just because I'm even though I don't play this particular dungeon, I'm kind of a guru when it comes to the rest of them. I know the mechanics in and out for the hunters and everything, and it doesn't seem especially hard for me. But I have all the awakened hunters. I don't actually have perfect gear. I don't have a tremendous amount of level 7s, but when I did try it a couple runs, I didn't particularly see it being a challenge. Maybe I'll go through and at least complete a 5. That way I can give some feedback. But for the guy who is running these, question that I would have is someone who understands the game, and every dungeon is about the same. The first 3 are kind of the same with the mechanics. Is there some mechanic which I know you've touched on this in past videos, but as someone who runs this a lot, are there certain game mechanics that players that are trying to get in there need to know, and things that they might want to maybe tweak their gear in some ways for certain hunters, which I know you've made videos on that, but does the guy doing the runs, does he have any input as far as game mechanics that he would pay special attention to, that he thinks that newer people to it should pay special attention to?
So there's like a lot of heroes that play differently than what most people might actually not understand. Like a good example is Mummy. We brought him up as he's used a little bit in Maze. He's probably used the most in Maze and Abyssal Maze, because when you're using fire, even if the dungeon, the monsters might have fire resistance, the boss itself, when it explodes, deals fire damage to those monsters. So you're leveling up even faster. So there's certain mechanics that people need to learn when they're looking up videos or asking about tips, that certain hunters play differently in Chaos versus where you might have seen them in a normal Yeti run or Kraken.
All right, can I paraphrase that with the game mechanic, and you tell me if I'm wrong on what you're saying?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I think what he is saying is with the it's actually a mechanic of the game in general, and with fire damage, not just with Mummy, but especially with Mummy, the fire damage. So the explosion from fire actually is an AOE damage. It does not apply fire stacks, but it does do regular damage to surrounding mobs. So if you're running fire and you're one of those people who likes to take it slow, like in AM or Maze or whatever, if you need to get a kill or two, get the kill or two. But when you get the mobs close together and the explosion damage will be regular damage, so you'll see that damage all the mobs at one time. You'll farm a little faster, and in Chaos, it's sounding like he's saying that aside from farming faster, you're also able to apply the stacks to the boss, and in doing so, that fire damage, because it grows over time, like the poison damage does to a degree, that it can do a lot of damage if you farm around the boss. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it's just with I should have explained it even better. Mummy, his Aurora, since it deals percent HP damage, that's why a lot of people use fire with him.
Yeah, of course. Papa's actually did a pretty good video on that. If you guys haven't watched it, when he does an edit on the live stream, he'll put a link right here. You can't see me, but I'm pointing at one corner of the screen. You'll see it when he throws that video into the edit. So, but no. So Adelaide is the only one talking. Anybody else got some questions? Adelaide is giving you guys some good advice, it seems like. But anyone else have questions? All right, John. John said the Mummy wasn't awakened. Huge RNG. What was he saying before that? All right, let's see what he was at. John Hahn, do you want to ask that again so that I can follow?
It was referencing the one Yeti. No, it was one of the runs that I was doing. I had Mummy as a choice.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Minimum gear, yeah. Adelaide is correct there. 7,500 gear score. And do you want to? Do you guys want to go over just for newer players? Because this video will probably be watched by other people down the road. I know this is supposed to be about the tier list, but when newer players are finally getting into this dungeon and things, do y'all want to go over maybe some of the basics for gear? Because everybody's coming from Abyssal, they're looking at their damage reduction sets and thinking that's the way to go. Do y'all want to maybe give them some pointers on what direction for a generality?
That is a great idea. So let's see. As far as offense,
I would recommend Papa with that, take into consideration that a lot of people when they get that gear score, because it's so easy to get that gear score now, to take into consideration awakened and unawakened, that sort of thing, like, which I got a feeling you kind of need awakened for the game in general. It seems like you're starting to need awakens more as they're making the old dungeons tougher, like maze and abyssal maze and maze. They're making a little tougher. You didn't used to ever need them. They just kind of made it faster. But now, for some hunters, they're much less useful. Like, I don't know if you could wrap those two things together or not. I know that's a difficult question.
Yeah.
I have awakened hunters. I'm not particularly concerned about it, but for posterity.
Right. So that's one thing that when we were making the tier list, several people had questions. They were like, well, I can't, I only have legendary gear, so what would you recommend for me? And, what I said at that time was basically, this is mostly designed for Mythic set because you're going to have a much harder time without it. Control's obviously showing us that it is definitely possible without Mythic, but it shows you that, it is a difficult dungeon, like you're saying. So one of the things that I consider is, like, any of these S tier hunters, they probably need to be awakened. There might be some exceptions, but at this point in your career, you should be awakening pretty much everyone who's, a decent hunter, period.
No, I have them. I have all but like 3 awakened. I'm not talking about for me.
I'm not talking about for you either. For posterity.
You're saying at this point, at this dungeon.
Yes. By the time
Okay.
you're in chaos, you should have a good chunk of awakened hunters, and kind of pushing towards that 50% mark, if not further.
Can you or him comment on which ones you think that are kind of the most crucial ones? I know I've got a few in mind that I could think of, but
So, I mean, for me, there's what, 2 or 3 different rules in this game. There's stackers, hunters who do a lot of hits really quick. Multi-shot hunters, a hunter like Gentleman, Goblin Engineer, they're hitting over and over again. So pretty much all of the stacker hunters are really good in chaos. Hunters with huge chunks of damage. So a hunter like Hoplite, I don't know the exact percentage he goes up by, but it's, 50% or more, or I would have to look it up, but it's a lot. So his base attack goes from, 1,000 up to like 20,000 damage. So any hunter like that is also going to be very high tier for the most part. There's probably some exceptions. I think, a hunter like Ninja is a good example of a hunter like that. It's 350% bonus. And then I think the third category would be Reflect Hunters, which in Abyssal, most of them are S tier or close to it. But in Chaos, because Reflect is nerfed down to, I think it's 5% or something crazy like that, almost every Reflect Hunter, unless they're also able to stack or have that damage bonus, they're not that great anymore. So I think my previous video I said the only two exceptions for reflecting were Engineer and Turtle.
Was that pre-nerf or post-nerf? I think that was post-nerf. But
The video
still
was
true.
pre-nerf, but yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Abyssal Awakened tier list, and we can post a link to that as well. Pretty much anything on there that's, A tier, S tier, that isn't only a Reflect Hunter is probably still good in Chaos.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Also, hey, you should post a link to your Patreon also, because aside from the content they get here, Patreons get early access to a lot of this stuff that other people don't. So make sure post a link to that, and make sure you also post a link to the Patreon there.
Will do.
So yeah, the tier lists are different, and that was a part of the point I was making. But for the people who aren't watching, that aren't Patreons already, definitely check out his Patreon.
Yeah.
And if you're not a member of his Discord, you absolutely have to get in the Kicks Gaming Discord. I pop in every once in a while when I see something come up. Even if I don't comment a lot of the times, they're talking about a lot of things. I should comment more, because there's some things I agree with and some things I don't agree with. But I'm a lot busier than I used to be also. So, but there are a lot of good. Whether you agree with because it's kind of like an open debate in there where people are trying to figure things out and they're using different methods. So it's a huge resource. Even if you don't agree with something, just understanding someone else's thought process on whatever conversation is going on is actually kind of huge. So
For
the
sure.
last thing that they were in there talking about, I don't remember what it was, but I agreed with everything everyone was saying. Actually, I actually agreed 100%, which is rare for me. Everybody that was having the conversation, I agreed with 100% with what they were saying. It was it was kind of like an order of operations thing that I had an issue with. When it was, I forget what I wish I could remember the topic so you can go back and look at it. I'll scroll through and I'll send it to you. But everybody was right, and I wanted to comment, but I was on my lunch break and I was trying to get in, doing some legacies to get those last few hunters awakened, or maybe some level 7 power stones. So
Yeah. The Discord is great. If you guys, anybody who's watching this, if you enjoy what you're seeing at all, join the Discord. There's just this all the time. I mean, probably not this amount of conversation, but the conversations are always really entertaining and informative.
who's playing that? It's the same Adelaide. It's the same fellow that's playing. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. What was is it? What's your in-game name? Control.
Control.
All right, it's Control playing. The guy in control of the character is in control of the game. No
Tom,
one's asking this, so go ahead.
the other half of your question was gear, and I did want to address that.
Go ahead.
Not just mythic versus legendary. So I'm displaying my gear on screen right now.
That's what
So
I meant when I said gear is power stones. That's what I was referring to.
yeah, and that's what I'm showing. So, obviously Abyssal was great for damage reduction. not so much anymore, obviously. So a big chunk is enough XP. I would say that's probably one of the most important things. The second would be having enough movement speed. And then the least important would be having enough HP. So if you see my gear here, I have 5 XP stones, 2 HP stones, and 2 movement speed. I know some players drop one of those HP for either XP or movement. It also depends on what stats are on the gear. All of my pieces have movement speed and attack speed, because I still don't want attack speed stones, obviously. So I don't need too much movement speed, and this is what I'm comfortable with. But any variation, plus or minus, should work well for you. As far as offense goes, I believe the standard in Abyssal was 2 poison, 2 tentacle, 1 pearl damage stone, and 1 life drain.
That was regular maze.
Regular mace, okay. Because of the poison resist on, I think it's 2 of the floors, most players bump it up to 3 tentacles and drop 1 of the poison stones. If you have full mythic, you can also you can do 2 white, 2 blue instead. But basically you don't really need that second poison stone anymore, because the resistance is so high. You wind up dealing more white damage than poison damage than you would have in the past. So being able to stack really fast is important. As far as fire floor goes, most players, based on the data, are doing not full fire, but fire tentacle and fire heal. So that would be 5 fire stones and 1 tentacle, or 5 fire stones and 1 life drain stone. And they usually use it on floor.
I'm gonna guess while he's looking at the numbers there, guys. I'm gonna guess that tentacle is on waves where you have hunters that are gonna have sustained damage to where even if you do die, say Phantom or Ancient One Awakened, you can die and still make it back without losing your stacks. And fire stays for 4 seconds, so it's something that people did during Abyssal. That's really not a good thing. It's arguable now that you have level 7 stones, but it's definitely a beneficial set. One that I don't recommend for Abyssal, but looking at everything, because I pay attention to a lot of this stuff, even though I don't play this dungeon, and it does look like. And I know I'm the one who was saying there are 3 types of lies: damn lies, and statistics. But that's one that I think you're going to be hard pressed to beat here in this dungeon. Control, you play this. Do you run that set?
Which one?
The Fire Tentacle.
I just recently put it on, only for like a couple heroes.
Sorry. Do you mind sharing with them the heroes that you think it's beneficial on?
Let's see. Mummy could be good for it, so that you could stack faster. I just recently used it on floor 5 of Dragon with Goblin Engineer.
Okay.
Work out with Grey Wolf, the 60% resistant to fire floors. Jester as well. One of my clan mates probably put in like half of the Jester data just by using fire.
Let's see.
Okay. Papa, back to what you were saying, and then we'll address what Adelaide is asking.
What was I saying? Which part?
You were about the we were talking about the as far as the different sets and hunters they were valuable for.
Oh, gotcha.
You were looking up the math actually behind it and what you use and why you use it. I think that's what you said, something to that effect.
I personally don't have enough experience with it that I just kind of avoid fire at this point, but in general, people tend to focus on very specific hunters. Mummy was a great example. Goblin Engineer was one, and that makes sense because you don't need to rely on life drain and just stand there and take the hits. You can just stack fire and just keep dodging. I don't think you would want to use Fire Tentacle though. I mean, you could, but unless you're standing there throwing your wrench, it's kind of a waste, and you'd probably want full fire. I'm not sure on Engineer.
Those of you who've been watching Control when he was playing, I think it was Dragon Dungeon earlier, you saw him use Goblin Engineer, and that's exactly what he did. He used the old hide behind the pillar trick. When the dragon was breathing fire, he'd hide behind the pillar, but when he wasn't, he'd go up and hit him with the tentacle. Is that what you were doing there?
Yep.
Yeah, Goblin and Dragon is a great combo.
As far as Adelaide, he's asking, we use blue on DR, so for most players, the only stones available are white stones and green. I'm not sure where he's going with that, but Control, since you run a lot of these, it seems like any tips that you want to add, like things that you think that people really need to know.
I mean, this whole dungeon I was just recently getting into Abyssal Maze. So when this game mode came out, it changed everything. You don't use blue stones for DR anymore. So not everybody, but a lot of players just wiped the DR away so that they could level up the tentacle gem even faster. And you just have to get a lot of experience gems and get to 100% movement speed.
All right, so good.
As far as level 7 white stones, yeah, those are good, but I think those are especially more for mythic people. If you have the full mythic set, you'll benefit more from that. If you don't have the full mythic set, then you might be better off focusing on tentacles first. But
Control. Good.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Control. Like, since he runs Legendary, I just wanted his opinion on that, on what you were saying. What do you run two whites, or what do you do?
I run the raw. Raw poison? So I have 2 whites in. It's not as beneficial compared to having a mythic set, but it's still a little bit extra. And each level that I get, it's that little extra more.
All right, So clarify your stones there, though. So you run the 2 tentacle, 2 white, so 2 blue, 2 white, a healing, and or do you run 3 tentacle?
No, I'm running a 2-2-1-1. All
right, what are those?
2 white, 2 blue, 1 green, 1 purple.
Oh, I left out the green. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So he's still running the same thing, and you feel like that's better than have you tried it with the 2 green or the 3 tentacle or
I have tried quite a few different sets that people were running with, but so far this is the one that has gotten me the most wins.
so yeah. I mean, I have all mythic sets. I actually have a mythic ring that I'm not even using right now. Don't even have anything in. But so it sounds like even if you do have the legendary set, you feel like that's better. Like, of course, it's going to be better with the mythic set, but you think that's the better setup on the waves where the boss is not immune to poison, or is the boss immune to poison on any of those?
Not immune, but like there's one floor that is really high poison resistance, and it would be
Okay,
level 3.
so pretty much any wave you think, any wave but wave 3 you think is good to go. Like that, that's a respectable set if you have the right hunter.
Yes.
All right, there you go. So Papa Kicks is underplaying it. That's a secret weapon, you guys. You don't need the mythic. Control is in control of the poison set. So check out, if you haven't already done it, guys, check out the two white stone build there. And if it doesn't feel right at first, maybe you're playing it a little wrong. Adjust your play style. Any play style. Wait a minute. So, all right, we got some questions coming in here.
Check the participant list, Tommy.
Control, since you're the chaos guru that's here today, like, I mean, most people, if they're at chaos level and haven't been artificially boosted and didn't have a mentor, are there any like people who just grind it up there? And are there any tips for people who maybe haven't, like, there are plenty of discords out there like Papa's and others where you can learn things, and there are plenty of people out there that are willing to teach you game mechanics. I'm one of them. I'm actually always looking for a clan because I'm trying to help people like learn the game, trying to build the community back up to what it was, like culturally, where people would just sit and play and have a good time and discuss ideas. Are there any things for people who maybe aren't active on Discord that they're sitting here thinking they may join Papa Kicks Discord? Or if you're in the Hunt Royale main, there's not a lot of activity there either, but I'm sure there are some Discords that Papa can recommend, or maybe Control here can recommend, that have active people that are willing to teach people. But people who aren't there yet to where they're, being engaged with community, are there any like quirky things that you or Papa would like to recommend to people to up their game, other than not things, but any Discord channels and things that you would recommend people do besides watching Papa Kicks to help them get better?
Personally, I don't know of any other servers. I know like there has been posts about them, like Friends and Friends, I think the server's called.
Oh, Helping Hands.
Yeah, there we go. So
Helping Hands. Yeah. Okay.
I'm only in like the main Discord, my clan's Discord. Yeah, so I'm usually very active in Papa Kick. So if you like hesitate on joining, and I would say just do it, because I'm in that. I try to help people with that maze set. It's a very nice community inside of the community.
Okay. Yeah. How about this, Papa Cakes? Why don't you set up a channel inside your Discord, a voice channel, and a discussion channel where people like Control here, and I'm still around sometimes. We can get with you and let you know when we're going to be around, and we'll stick around to live stream in the Discord or Twitch or wherever people stream, like I can stream in both, but we'll actually just play with people and we'll go through whatever dungeon they're working on, whatever, and help them like we did in the Runty, help them understand the dungeon, the game mechanics behind certain characters, where people just volunteer their time to help people with different things. Could you do something like that?
Yeah, I don't see why I can't.
And I'm looking for a clan. If you could talk to Ilos for me, I messaged him and never heard back. So I'm helping out. I'm out helping out some smaller clans right now, but
yeah, I think Ilols is taking a break from HR.
I ain't mad at him. No, I may end up residing there once I'm done helping out some of these clans that have active members that are looking for help. They're trying to understand. They've got the same player base that we had back in the day, and but like the community's just suffering with these some of the changes they've made, like are not community based changes, if that makes sense. So but like definitely let's get some of those discords together for people. If you could maybe your Discord's probably the best one to be in, but like there's some for that's for people who are really wanting to be good at the game, though. A lot of people who come across your content are probably, and you might want to make this part of it a clip, but people who are looking for certain places to just learn the basics, because we've all been playing so long that we are so far into the end game stuff that we kind of overlook the newer players. And I've actually taken an opposite approach, which primarily because I don't want a single player dungeon. But I will do an AM5 and I'll post it for you guys to see in the Kicks Discord. I'll send it to Papa and he can post it somewhere. Tommy's first AM5. Y'all can make fun of me. Or Chaos 5, I'm sorry. But we should definitely do something to bolster the community and get people active again. Like things have like died off in a lot of clans. Like even in your Discord, your clan's Discord, there used to be a lot of people active in the voice chat and other places, and just difficult. For those of you watching, though, look at the strategy there that he's using with Gentleman, using the pillar. That's going to be crucial with a lot of different hunters. So I'm not talking about just carrying. Maybe you do some carries, Adelaide. Sorry. I'm not talking about just carries, but just teaching guys the mechanics behind different hunters or the fire mechanic. Even if they watch the videos that Papa Kicks has already done on a lot of these things, it's hard to understand some of that stuff without someone actually giving you that aha moment. So it doesn't matter if Papa Kicks tells you it's 10%, 20%, this, that, and the other. If you don't get to see it and practice, someone doesn't demonstrate it for you. I'll volunteer my time to do it because most of the time I'm teaching people that sort of stuff in random clans anyway. So
hands-on learning, it goes a long way. What you're talking about.
yeah, we've got people from all around the world in the clan I'm in right now helping out. I've only been here for a few days, but I had a guy in last night with Stat King, Mike here. Mike just said he can hop in and out, and me and Mike were just cutting up with the guy and teaching him. And the guy was asking legit questions. They were Papa Kicks style questions, and I'm not saying they're your style of question. I'm saying he was asking them like you would ask a question. That means the guy's genuinely interested in the game and trying to figure things out. He seemed like a pretty cool dude. That wasn't last night. It was a few nights ago, I guess. But
cool.
So But so
Let's
Now
wrap
I'm
this
like-
up.
all right. And if you guys haven't already, before Papa Kicks wraps it up, make sure you hit that like button. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely do so. And consider checking out the Patreon and the Discord. And Tommy Candu is going to wait for Papa Kicks to be out.
I really just gotta hire you as my spokesperson or whatever.
Just when you're making new videos, we'll talk after the episode.
Right on. All right. Thank you, Control, for providing gameplay and your footage. Thank you, Tommy, for stepping in for Tabs, and obviously thank Tabs when you get a chance. And thank you, everyone, for who tuned in and watched and asked questions. Yeah. And I will post a whole bunch of links in the description, like Tommy talked about, as well as the official tier list as a spreadsheet and as images and all that jazz. And keep an eye on the Discord as well. It'll show up there also.
Okay, and this
Alright.
is totally PG, but Tab said that the next 5 Patreons, upon request, they have to be the next 5. She will send a selfie to, so that selfie to Papa Kicks, especially for them, with her name like on her shirt or something like that, with their name on a shirt or something like that. Maybe some white tees or something. She'll write it on there or something. So the next 5 Patreons, she'll do something like that. She'll take selfies. These are PG. She's going to be wearing clothes, so keep your minds out of the gutter. But you can get a selfie, and if Papa wants, when she moderates in the future, instead of just seeing Pop up there, maybe he can throw that in the corner somewhere. That's up to you guys.
Feet pics?
I don't know. I didn't ask her about feet pics. Oh, she said that is possible. That is possible upon request.
Awesome.
And that's how she got into OnlyFans. No. No, do follow the Queen on OnlyFans too, guys. Just kidding.
Right on. All right. Thank you all. I will see you tomorrow. Maybe. Papa Kicks out.